Hi, welcome to Light and Shadows. My name is JF. My quote of the day today is: the quieter you become, the more you can hear. For those seeking personal growth, um, you have to grow from the inside out when you're growing spiritually. That means that it's not something you can easily do with in a setting that's always noisy. You have to go somewhere, find peace, and work on your spiritualism. Work on your love, work on your shadows. Um, Nobody can really teach you how to be spiritual for yourself. I don't know if I'm making this very clear right now, but what I mean by that is there's no other teacher but your own for your soul, because you are the one that knows your soul. You know your soul better than anybody else. So when it comes to spiritualism, you are best placed to know what you need, to know what you need to work on, to know what you need to do, to know what you need to do better, to know what to stop doing, um, to lead yourself. As I was saying before in episode 1, I believe. Lead yourself. Not always easy, but it's always worth it. One other thing I want to talk about today is willful blindness. Now, this is something that I have been guilty of several times. Willful blindness is the deliberate avoidance of knowledge, where a person suspects a fact but intentionally refrains from confirming it to escape liability. So, when we're put in situations sometimes, we often disregard or lack of knowledge regarding certain situations. And when we do that, we tend not to act in our best interest or in the best interest of other people. Simple as that. When we when we deliberately shut our eyes to the truth, we intentionally and consciously choose to remain ignorant. It is not merely a failure to inquire. There's a lot of things going on in the world right now that we turn a blind eye to because it's far away. It's not our problem. We have our own problem. The thing that I have a problem with that is people keep saying, and I've been guilty of that myself, big time. We tell ourselves that it's a war in wherever. It's not, it doesn't matter. It does. And as an individual, we often think that we cannot do anything about this, but we absolutely can. I'm a prime example of that. I see that there's a huge lack of love in the world right now. Hate seems to prevail. So I'm doing my part by putting out information about love, self-loving, loving others, bettering yourself. And you know what? It's touched quite a few people already, and I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of that because by touching other people, by sharing my light with them, now they're sharing their light with others. And I see that on a daily basis. And this is awesome. since starting this podcast, I've had people reaching out to me, asking me question or giving me their concerns and asking for advice. And I'm quite happy to do that. I can do the work for you, but I can direct you in the right way, according to my experiences anyway. If it worked for me, I'm sure it can work for somebody else. Let's see. Okay. When I led myself to be a better person, when I led myself to heal myself from trauma, from my child wounds, I adopted what's now my favorite phrase, my new motto. And it's simple. It's let go and let God. When we're facing factors in our life that we cannot control, just let God handle it. Let God handle it. You know what? Just if you have no control over it to start with, why worry about it? Why worry about it? Do what you can, then let go and let God, or let the universe, or let source, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same to me. And after doing this, I found that there were profound changes in my life. I regained control of my life and my mindset, and my authentic self, because I wasn't so worried and trying to control everything that was going on in my life. That was key for me. It liberated my mind to and put it to better use on other problems that I do have control over. This is when I also realized that I have another duality. I'm light and darkness. And when I say I'm light and darkness, I am light and I'm darkness. There's a very dark side of me, just like there's a very light side of me. And by doing the work that I did on myself, I was able to control my shadows, my darkness. By embracing them, by accepting who I am, I was able to control the darkness. I was able to control the shadows inside of me. They're there, but they only come out in time of extreme duress. Where's my light? I put out all the time. I have a family member that contacted me earlier this week, and she was interested in my podcast. So, I sent her a copy of the first one, and she was really interested into it. And she called me, and we talked for over an hour. About life, about problems that we have, about advice that she would like to receive, and I gave advice based on what I know, meaning what I've been going through in life. Because that's all I know. I mean, I'm not an expert in anything except me. So I gave her the advice that I thought was best if I were to do it myself. But I also told her that the decision is hers. Like if she needs to take certain actions, then by all means do it. But the decision is her. And same thing for you. The decision in your life are yours. Which one are you going to make? Another thing that I realize is I possess radical forgiveness. When I forgive, I forgive. I don't go back. I don't dwell on it. But I forgive not necessarily for the individual that I'm forgiving. I'm forgiving for myself, for my peace of mind, so that I can move forward. And that's important because when you don't forgive or you don't forgive for yourself, that's a negative piece that's always gnawing at you, that's always poking at you. And when we have several of those, then, the problem compounds and it becomes more difficult then to forgive. So what I do is I forgive for myself first, so that I can put these negative thoughts, these negative feelings out of my mind, out of my head, and concentrate on doing better for me and becoming a better version of me every day. Another thing that I find too is that I activate people. And by that I mean I become a catalyst sometimes. Just by my words, just by me being there. I know that I have a presence. I know that not everyone is comfortable with my presence because it makes them question themselves, their shadows, their light. I have the ability to see through a lot of people because of my very strong intuition. So I was saying, I think it was last episode about being the INJ, because of a high intelligence, because of my strong introverted intuition, and because of my pattern recognition from the ASD, my brain can put pictures that a lot of people can't. I can solve problems that a lot of people can't, in a way that people can't, because I do it very differently. And since I've accepted my dualities, all of them, these gifts have been growing stronger and stronger and stronger. Yes, I said gifts because there's more than one, but I'm working on that. This is an awakening for me, and it's giving me the ability to look people and talk to people and be better able to understand what they're going through, and to be better able to give the right advice, the right directions. And that's important for me. I'm also here to learn, to affect changes, and to break cycles. Somebody in the spiritual community called me a cycle breaker, and I was like, what's that? So I learned what it was, in life, we get trapped in cycles, whether they're vicious cycles or just regular cycles, something that we repeat often, and that's not necessarily good for us. And these are hard things to break, You can also call them habit, you can call them a lot of things. But then again, you have to lead yourself to a better you. So you know what breaking cycles? Yeah, is a good thing. Breaking old habits, making new ones. We're not all successful at this. God knows I'm not successful at this in all areas of my life. There's still areas of my life where I need a lot of work. Habits that I need to quit. A lot of things. I'm far from perfect. I am a regular person, just I have some gifts that allow me to see life very differently. And that's a good thing. Again, because of that, I can help others. Like I said when I first started this podcast, I'm full of love, I'm full of light. A lot of time it's too much for just one person. So I'm sharing it with the world in the hope that this will be received and this will help your light grow and just keep on giving to the world and make the shadows that are trying to envelop us disappear. I've talked before about mindset shifts and manifestation, and I've had a lot of questions about that. People are, still thinking, well, manifestation is just a fancy word for a wish. No, yes and no, it's not. And as I said before, a wish is just a thought. It's not an action. I wish whatever. Wishing will not get you anywhere. Changing your mindset and manifesting, now that's going to do it for you. Manifesting is not magic. Manifesting is having a vision of a brighter future, having a vision of a better job, having a vision of having kids one day, having a vision of being able to retire comfortably. These are things that you can manifest in your life, but in order to do these things, you have to have a mindset shift. You have to change the way you look at things. You have to have courage, because mindset shifts are not easy, especially when we're in a family setting and the entire family's mindset is a certain way. And if you change your mindset, then you kind of go against the grain here. You go against your friends, your family, whatever group that you're socially with that has a certain mindset. And shifting our mindset is not a bad thing. It's a very good thing, actually. It allows us to look at a situation, a problem, anything in a different light, in a different way, in a different perspective. And when we do that, we can notice details that we missed before about a certain situation. And that is an ability that everybody has. It's an ability that makes your life better. It's an ability that lets you attain more for yourself. And more is not always money. More is more self-respect, more love, better physical health. It's a lot of things. So don't be afraid when you hear a word like manifestation. It's not magic. It's something that you can do. It's something that every one of us can do. We can manifest a better life for ourselves. Expectations versus communications. All right. As human beings, we all have expectations. But how do we communicate these expectations is key. If you have expectation just to have expectation, you don't communicate this expectation with the person or the persons that you need to communicate them with in order for them to happen. Are they going to happen? They may not. But if you clearly communicate these expectations of yours to the people that matter to, whether it's a partner, whether it's a co-worker, whether it's your boss, whether it's anything, your children, your neighbor, when we communicate these expectations correctly, we allow others to help us achieve these expectations. And when I say communicate correctly, I'm talking about making the other person or persons that you're trying to communicate your expectations to in a way that it's very clear to them, in a way that's non-threatening, in a calm manner, and with the goal of having the other person or the other persons fully understand what your expectations are. So expectations are good. Of course they are. We all have them. but it's how you communicate them. Because if you have expectations with no communication, well, I'm sorry, but these expectations are never going to happen for you. So, clear communication is key when you want others to understand what your expectations are. Another thing that I've learned since letting the universe take over when there's nothing I can do about the situation is that I'm living proof that love is stronger than hate. I am living proof that my rise was because love was stronger than hate. Because I made a conscious decision to love myself first and foremost before anything else, instead of choosing hate. And by choosing to love myself, I liberated myself from the hate. I liberated myself from self-destruction. And I liberated myself from the grasp of evil. And I'm just saying that, as a, oh, it's a new revelation for me and I see God now. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that by loving me first and foremost, which is something that I've never done before, it enabled me to see life in a very different perspective, a very different lens. Because I was not so busy hating people, which I can't really do. That's another thing that I have a problem with is hate. I don't hate. I'm incapable of hating. I've always been that way. I can say, well, I hate something, I hate that, but I really don't. When somebody does me wrong, I just disappear from their life. And that's my way of showing hate, I guess. If you're going to show me that I do not matter, then why should I give you the same in return? Or why should I give you love in return when, So instead of hating, I just make myself, show myself the door out of a person's life. And that's all there is to it. But yeah, hate, I have a hard time with that. Okay, my next thing I want to talk about is spiritual healing. Spiritual healing comes from within us, and it's based on self-love. So if you are not able to love yourself, you're going to have a hard time loving others, being spiritual, being kind to others, being charitable to others. It can be very, very, very difficult if you do not have self-love and self-acceptance first. The only one that can save you spiritually is you. And if you keep focusing on hate, you diminish yourself. You know, it takes so much more energy to hate something than it is to love something. Hate is hard. It comes easy to some people, but it's hard on you, it's hard on your body, it's hard on your mind. Whereas love isn't. I've seen people, come off, a day at work and they are so hateful and they're always tired. Well, duh. Stop hating. Start by loving yourself. And then look at life around you. See how it changes. And it will, I promise you. It's hard to do the really hard work on ourselves. It's hard to look at ourselves in the mirror, look at ourselves in the eyes and say, We need to do better. I need to do better. You would think that it's easy sometimes, but no, it's not. It's one of the hardest things I've had to do is to look myself in the eyes and admitting to myself that I was wrong about a lot of things. Admitting to myself that I'm not doing things the way I should be doing it. Admitting to myself that I failed in places. But also admitting to myself that I tried as hard as I could. Admitting to myself that I did succeed in this area and that area. Admitting to myself that I am more than my failures. And this is a thing we concentrate on so much as a society as failures, and who's responsible and who we're gonna blame, instead of shifting our mindset and thinking a different way, looking at the situation in a different angle, and say, you know what, I can do better. Yes, it's hard, but just like anything else, just like any muscle you try to develop, the more you do it, the easier it gets. The first time I did it, oh my god, one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life is to admit to myself that I have failed, or that I'm not doing something correctly. And that's taking charge of yourself. That's leading yourself to a better life. But some people find it hard to accept that they're not perfect. None of us are. Nobody is perfect. We're all human beings. We all have good side and bad side. We all have lights. We all have light, and we all have shadows. It's what you do with them. It's how you lead yourself through life that's gonna determine how you come out of it. So be kind to yourself and do the hard work now, so you don't have to do it much later on. Especially if you're still young. Do the work on yourself. It's gonna change your life. It's gonna lead you to a better tomorrow. I guarantee. And most of all, never give up. Never, ever, ever, ever give up on yourself. That's not even an option. When life gets you down, get back up. Fight. Fight for yourself. Fight for your peace. Fight for your truth. There's quite a few people that I've heard my message so far, and I've received so much positive notes, information, anecdotes from so many people. And you know what? I'm proud of all of you. I'm so proud of all of you, but most of all, I'm proud of me for helping some people to shift their mindset, to look at the way they lead their life, and the way they go through life, and making changes. And sometimes they're just little changes. I mean, like I said, none of us are perfect. We all have faults. But it's what we do with that matters. And that's one of the most important things that you can learn. Like anger. Anger is a necessary thing in your life. It's one of the basic emotions. But it's how you address that anger. It's how you put that anger out that matters. It's never okay to put your anger on other people. Never. Well, let me rephrase that. 99% of the time, it's not okay to put your anger on people. There's that 1% that, yeah, somebody deserve a smack upside the head sideways real fast, but that's 1%. Most of us We go through life and we make mistakes sometimes. And instead of trying to understand what happened in that dynamic, we often just let our anger go out. And that doesn't serve us. That doesn't serve anyone. Try to understand what made you angry. Was it a thing? Was it a person? Was it a situation? Identify that first, and then identify after that what from that particular circumstances made you angry, and then go and further, and then okay, is it my perception, or is it like the action of somebody else? Is it the situation I find myself into now? And is there something I can do about it? Is there something I can learn from it? Is there more understanding that I can get? Because sometimes a lot of people try to think about a certain way or a certain situation logically, when you sometimes have to go with your heart too. You have to go with your heart, your intuition, and your brain, and the logic. When you get all these aspects of a problem, sometimes, actually, most of the time, the anger will go away because now you're starting to understand why this is going on and what you can do about it. Because we can always do something about a situation, people, places. Doesn't matter. You have the power to lead yourself to a better life. You have the power to think about a situation before you get angry. And again, like a muscle, the more you practice that, the easier it comes. When I did the work on myself, I just didn't do the work and stop it there. And then every week, I take charge of myself, and I take accountability for what I've done. And I reflect, and I say, okay, what have I done this week that was good? What have I done that was not as good as I wanted to? And what can I do about it? So sometimes I'll just go to the bathroom and have a chat with myself again. Say, hey, we talked about that. You did better, but you didn't do as good as you could. Why is that? Well, you know what? That day I was really, really tired because I didn't sleep the night before. Well, okay. I can accept that. So tomorrow let's do better. We're not going to be 100% in our game every day. Life is hard. Life gives us challenges. But it's how we deal with these that makes us who we are, that turns us into better people, if we choose to. Again, I will remind everyone that I would like you to spread your love, to spread your light around. I've helped friends, I've helped family, I've helped a lot of people this weekend. And it's nothing that required a lot of my time. An hour phone call here, an hour at a coffee shop with a friend when we talk, and we actually help each other. Doesn't take much. But most of all, before you help others, help yourself. Help yourself. What's lacking in your life right now? What are the things that you could do that would make you a better person? Sometimes, you know what? It's just decided that, I need 2 more hours of sleep tonight. Instead of going to bed at 11, 11:30, 12, midnight, whatever. Go to bed earlier. And get the sleep, get the rest that you need, because in today's society, go, a lot of time equates to no sleep or less sleep than we need to, and then we carry a deficit the next day, and the next day it repeats, and we carry a deficit, and you come to the weekend and you can't do anything because you are exhausted, but you still have obligations, so you have to go. So you go, you're exhausted, you get cranky. You see where this is going? Sometimes, even to the point of being somewhat selfish, you have to think of yourself first. Take care of yourself before you take care of others. Because if you do not take care of yourself first, you won't be able to help others because you're going to be exhausted, emotionally bankrupt. You know what? It's like when we take a flight. The flight attendant first give us a safety briefing. And that safety briefing is the inflatable vest thing. What did they say? No, it's not that. Well, that one too, but the mask when it drops. They say put on your mask first before helping others. Because if you don't put it on first, and you run out of oxygen, you pass out, then you can't help your child, your partner, your parent, or elderly parent that's beside you that can't help themselves. The same thing for life. Help yourself first before you're able to help others. And keep on sharing your light, even when it's hard. And sometimes it's just a smile, a quick phone conversation with a friend that you haven't talked to in a while. Say, hey, I miss you, man. How you doing? Showing you care, spreading your light again. Just taking a few minutes of your time to help somebody else. A kind word, that takes half a second. A kind word. Hey, I like your outfit today. That looks pretty cool. That's sharing your light, and you know what? That other person might now just why not again? Another notch. It's easy. And today I would like to thank God, the universe, source, for continuously helping me become a better person every day. And it's something that I really, really strive for. And I always ask help from the universe to guide me to a better tomorrow. And this is no different than going to church and praying for anything. Except in this case, I don't wait for God, the universe, the source to do something for me. When I say, universe, you need to help me, it also means that I need to help myself first. If you don't help yourself first, then you can't expect God to help you. You can't expect the universe to help you. You get help when you first start helping yourself. And that's important. So keep spreading your light. And have a great week. And I will see you again next weekend. Peace, love, and light. Thank you.